Mamdani just proved politics can still help people. This is one of those stories where people should probably let themselves feel a little hopeful for a minute. New York City just froze rents for about 1 million rent-stabilized apartments, and that means roughly 2 million people are getting something working people almost never get anymore: breathing room. Zohran Mamdani campaigned on this. He said he wanted to freeze the rent, and now the Rent Guidelines Board voted to do it for both 1-year and 2-year leases. In a city where rent can eat an entire paycheck, that's not some tiny symbolic gesture. That's real money staying in real homes. And look, I know the criticism is coming because it always does. Landlords are going to say their costs are going up. Property owners are going to say buildings need maintenance. And some of that is a real conversation. Buildings do need repairs. Housing does need investment. New York still needs more homes. But here's the thing. Renters have been carrying the emergency for years. Every time the rent goes up, they're the ones who have to figure out what gets cut. Groceries, medicine, childcare, transit, savings, school clothes, a doctor visit, or just a little bit of peace. That's what rent pressure actually means in a normal person's life. So when people talk about a rent freeze like it's just a number on a policy chart, they're missing the human part. For a family, 0% can mean not moving. It can mean not switching schools. It can mean not putting another bill on a credit card. It can mean one more year where life doesn't get harder just because the lease renewal showed up in the mail. And that's why this feels bigger than New York. It breaks the usual political script. Most of the time, politicians tell people they understand the pain. They campaign on affordability. They pose next to families. They say all the right words, and then the system keeps moving exactly the same way it moved before. This time, something actually changed. A promise became policy. A campaign line turned into a rent freeze. A government board made a decision that working people are going to feel in their monthly lives. It doesn't fix everything, but it's not nothing either. And honestly, people need examples like this right now. Not because Mamdani is perfect, not because one policy fixes the housing crisis, not because rent freezes are simple, free, or without trade-offs. People need examples like this because they're exhausted by politics that only seems to deliver for corporations, donors, investors, and insiders. This delivered something to tenants. Not a speech, not a slogan, not a vague promise about helping families someday. A real pause on rent hikes for people who needed one. That's the hopeful part. If a city as complicated, expensive, and politically brutal as New York can still choose to give renters relief, then maybe the rest of the country can stop pretending nothing can be done. Maybe housing doesn't have to be treated like some unstoppable force of nature. Maybe rent isn't just something people are supposed to survive quietly while everyone else calls it the market. Maybe politics can still pick a side. And for once in this case, it picked the people trying to stay in their homes.